friend.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and City of Edmonton councillors. We are in the middle of Edmonton's Poetry Festival, and I would like to welcome its artistic director and Edmonton's former poet laureate, Alice Major.
Thank you so much, Councillor Batty, Mayor Mandel, councillors. The Edmonton Poetry Festival is a celebration of the human voice and our delight in words. Now, what do you think we should do to celebrate?
A bunch of the boys were whooping it up at the Malamute Saloon.
The kid that handles the music box was hitting a ragtime tune.
The back of the bar in his solo game sat dangerous Dan McGrew, and watching his luck was his light of love, the lady known as Lou.
When out of the night, which was 50 below, and into the din and glare, there stumbled a miner, fresh from the creeks, dog dirty and ready for bear.
He looked like a man with a foot in the grave and scarcely the strength of a louse. Yet he tilted a poke of dust on the bar and called for drinks for the house. There was none could place the stranger's face, though we searched ourselves for a clue, but we drank his health.
And the last to drink was dangerous Dan McGrew.
There's men that just somehow grip your eyes and hold them hard like a spell. And such was he. And he looked to me like a man who had lived in hell.
With a face most hair and the dreary stare of a dog whose day is done. As he watered the green stuff in his glass and the drops fell one by one, then I got to figuring who he was and wondering what he'd do. And I turned my head.
And there, watching him, was the lady known as Lou.
His eyes went rubbering round the room, and he seemed in a kind of a daze. To last, that old piano fell in the way of his wandering gaze. The ragtime kid was having a drink, and there was no one else on the stool. So the stranger stumbles across the room and flops down like a fool.
In a buckskin shirt that was glazed with dirt, he sat and I saw him sway. Then he clutched the keys with his talon hands.
My God, but that man could play. Were you ever out in the great alone when the moon was awful clear and the icy mountains hemmed you in with a silence you could almost hear, with only the howl of a timber wolf?
And you camped there in the cold, a half-dead thing in a stark, dead world, clear mad for the muck called gold.
While high overhead, green, yellow and red, the north lights swept in bars, then you've a hunch what that music meant. Hunger and night and the stars.
And hunger not of the belly kind that's banished with bacon and beans, but the gnawing hunger of lonely men for home and all that it means. For a fireside far from the cares that are, four walls and a roof above.
But oh, so cramful of cozy joy, crowded with a woman's love, a woman dearer than all the world, and true as heaven is true.
God, how ghastly she looks through her rouge, that lady known as Lou.
Then on a sudden, the music changed, so soft that scarce you could hear. But you felt that your life had been looted clean of all that you held most dear, that someone had stolen the woman you loved, that her love was a devil's lie.
That your guts were gone, and the best of you was to crawl away and die. 'Twas the crowning cry of a heart's despair, and it thrilled you through and through.
I guess I'll make it a spread misere, said dangerous Dan McGrew.
And the music seems to die away, and it bursts like a pent-up flood. And it seems to say, repay, repay, and my eyes fill up with blood. And a thought returns of an ancient wrong, and it stings like a frozen lash. And a lust awakes to kill, to kill.
Then the music stopped with a crash.
And the stranger turned and his eyes, they burned in a most peculiar way. In a buckskin shirt that was glazed with dirt, he sat, and I saw him sway. Then his lips went in a kind of grin, and he spoke, and his voice was calm.
And boys, said he, you don't know me, and none of you give a damn. But I know I want to state, and my words are straight, and I'll bet my poke they're true. The one of you is a hound of hell, and that one is Dan McGrew.
Then I ducked my head, and the lights went out, and 2 guns blazed in the dark, and a woman screamed.
The lights went up. 2 men lay stiff and stark. Pitched in his head and pumped full of lead was the dangerous Dan McGrew.
Well, the man from the creeks lay clutched to the breast of the lady, known as Lou.
These are the simple facts of the case. I guess I ought to know. They say that the stranger was crazed with hooch, and I'm not denying it so.
I'm not so wise as the lawyer guys, but strictly between us two, the woman that kissed him and pinched his poke was
the lady that's known as Lou.